So the problem is today's parents are scared to let their children be bored.
3 classes of football, 2 classes of cricket, and in between you throw in yoga. My job is done.
How do I make sure that play wins over screen? And it's never a battle. How do we make sure that play is winning over screen?
You know what? If you're taking a child away from a screen, remember you're taking away the visual, you're taking away the auditory, you're taking away the story that's unfolding, told in a way that's voice modulated, all the right attractions, right? So anything that you would therefore suggest needs to be a suitable alternative. Therefore, it has to have all the elements of what they would get on the screen. It has to be fun. You have to do it with them. And that's where the working moms will say, hey, listen, we don't have time, we're exhausted, all of that, but we get to that solution. It doesn't have to be 40 hours.
Yeah.
It can be a few minutes. But if that routine sets in, and Mansi, parents don't recognize, educators don't recognize that it is actually a structure and a routine that a child needs.
Yeah.
It cannot be unstructured. It cannot be without a routine. If you put that in, for me, it's a 3-day rule with kids. You pack it in. You consistent with your communication and the process and the consequences. They just follow. They're probably more adaptive than we are. We'll take a little longer. They're quick to replace an existing memory with something that they think can sustain their energy as well.
Yeah.
So alternative would be to make it more fun, stimulating. And hey, Mansi, I'm pro technology. So I have to say this. I believe it's an enabler. I don't think this fixation on screen time should take away from the advantages as well. Then it's about negotiation.
Right.
Then it's about essential agreements. Okay, your time, your choice. You
Pick
tell me
what you want to play with.
Yeah, and how much screen time. So let's decide. Let's next negotiate. Give it a few days of experimentation. Figure it out. You're a sensible mom. Any mother will know that it's not 24 hours.
Yeah.
According to me, wake time for early years kids is about maximum 9 hours. The rest should be in food, sleep, school, all of that, right? You're anyway away from the screens. So what can you do to give them that space? Because they cannot grow up in a world without screens. But how do you make sure that they don't go towards the screen by making the alternative super fun, super engagement, combination of indoor, outdoor, not just board games or playing a musical instrument. Kids, beyond mention, are wired differently, right? Just combination.
Right.
Listen, an extra half an hour or 1 hour is not life-threatening.
Yeah.
Again, not life-threatening.
Yeah, and to add to that, I'd also like to mention that learning skills, right, are not equal to play. So what I mean by that is parents often tell us that, oh, if my kids are going from one class to the other, or they're learning this, or they're learning that. I think, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or right in thinking that, that's still structured play. The power of unstructured play, or free play as we call it, is so much more, right? Where you're just actively sitting down and doing nothing else but playing.
Playing, reading, music, creating music with your kids. So that's outsourcing, Mansi.
Yeah.
Classes are outsourcing. That's not play. That's just saying, hey, I didn't have time to do it myself, so I've just parked it with this one. You know what? They told me 10 hours of sports, physical activity a week for a middle schooler. Done. 3 classes of football, 2 classes of cricket, and in between you throw in yoga. My job is done. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an engagement. We're talking about you contributing to that conversation, making it fun, laughing, saying, listen, I built this pointless thing. But hey, listen, that's pretty interesting, Mansi, what you have.
This is something that my kids feel so powerful building with me, because they know that I'm not as good as them. I think they like basically building everything and doing things where they feel like she doesn't have an edge, right?
True, because my son will look at the manual and say, again, you're just doing it your way because you have no patience. Follow the rules, mom, follow the rules. And I think that's taught my son, who is very, very impatient, rules. I don't know, a sense of calmness as they follow it, sometimes that's required.
Yeah.
You don't always have to run and win the race. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just have to pace yourself.
Yeah.
know, I
For
think
me,
the-
it's sequencing, right?
You know,
Just
the
that
problem
one,
is
two.
today's parents are scared to let their children be bored.
Yeah.
And boredom is actually something that the brain needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the best thoughts have come when your brain is vacant. It cannot be when you're rushing from one place to the other, when you're trying to make it to the next class or complete the next thing. So,
Eating in the car.
eating in the car, even eating with a device in front of you. I mean, I will not be a hypocrite and say I've not done it. I did it when my kids were younger because sometimes you need to distract them, but you need to also wean it off
Yeah.
because you want the child to be mindfully eating
Yeah.
at some point in time. And I'm a big, big believer in leading by example. I believe that no child does what you say, they will do what
Yeah.
you do. So if you're saying no screen, but you are saying that while you're looking at your phone, your child's going to get to that screen. But if you put your screen down and you say, come on, let's just do this together, which child doesn't want to engage with their parents, which child doesn't want to engage with family or do something different?
Yeah.
So, like both of you, I'm not anti the screen. I do
Yeah.
believe that this is the way, this is their reality, honestly, and it does make life easy in many ways.
Yeah.
It's just important for us to know what they're consuming when they're on that screen,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of good stuff out there, a lot of mindless stuff out there, which also the brain needs sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
you need some mindless fun. You don't need to be
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly hyper focused all the time. That's also overrated. Sometimes foolish, silly memes and things that just make you laugh is good enough. So I'm not someone who's anti the screen, but I have always ensured that the screen came at the end of the day or after another activity.
Yeah.
Because I've realized that the transition from screen to something else is hard. Because like Fatima said, it is so packed with everything attractive
Yeah.
that I think human beings can't sometimes match that kind of gratification they get from screen.
Right.
So my kids will move from an activity to screen and vice versa very rarely, but they also give up the screen, like she said, when the activity is as alluring or as much fun.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kids Talk Press now.